However, boys, please take note. Well, the one thing that we've learned, the massive thing that we've learned here from today is go out now. If you're playing New World or you're on a break from New World, come back into New World and get yourself a set of 600 gear score stuff, armor, weapons, jewelry, or high 580, 590, something like that, because the gear that you have now will not scale after the patch. Endgame update, dev blog. Ooh. Shit, I don't remember reading this. I don't remember seeing this FAQ. Expertise and Gypsum FAQ. Should we have a look through this? Okay, what was the post before? So this was the one we saw 4 days ago. I've been crying with my man flu since then. Expertise and Gypsum FAQ. When an item's gear score has effectively reduced to your expertise level, is that permanent or temporary? It's it's not a permanent change. The item will retain its inherent gear score, and as you increase your expertise, the effectiveness of the gear score will... Okay, we know that. How do crafters fit into endgame? Good question. Will crafting still stay important if there are so many other ways people can gain higher gear score? Crafters will still be critical to endgame gear. At endgame, crafters are the best source of custom gear score 600 legendaries. With the addition of timeless shards, they will now have even more control over the outcome of their crafts. So I think the thing that's changed is when we first started playing New World, what they said was crafters will give the best in slot items. And that was quite a clear message. If you're on the best gear, you have to craft it. That was what they said. Now they're saying it's the best source. So it's not like the only source, it's the best source. It'll be interesting to see what we can get drop wise, like, and how much effort it is to get the drops. Maybe I'm going to get a great drop off the back of a dungeon rather than going out my way to craft it, you know? I hate how slow my weapon watermark is. So I got my weapon watermarks up a lot doing loads of portal trains. So just out of 160 boxes, my weapons across all the weapons, or my watermark across all the weapons went up quite a bit. I have seen someone talk about timeless shards. I'm not sure exactly what they are. We'll search in a second. Will you be selling gypsum in a cat shop? We will not sell gypsum in the cat shop. That is good to hear. That is good to hear. With the new expertise system, if you craft your own level 600 gear, that also raises your expertise. Crafting items does not raise your expertise. However, with the addition of the trade skill aptitude system, crafters will be able to earn emerald gypsum as a path to increase their expertise. So if you guys didn't know, the way the crafting is going to work now is, let's say you're, for argument's sake, level 200, and you go out your way to craft something. The circle that you have, it will continue to go around, and I think there's 3 points on that circle where you can hit bonuses. And when you hit those bonuses, you get the emerald gypsum, which then you can use to create a gypsum cast, which you can then get a weapon from, which will then increase your watermark. Fuck me. I think the system's going to be good. It's quite a mouthful to explain and get your head around. So we did have it in, I did look at it in the PTR. So for argument's sake, when you do an outpost rush, you get a gypsum per outpost rush. We won one and we lost one. We got a gypsum both times, and it was 2 gypsum, a gypsum cast of that particular type. But there was other types. So if you killed elite mobs, you needed more. I think it was like 7 or something like that. So for different things that you do in the game, you get different types of gypsum. So this one was emerald. You get a different type of gypsum for doing different activities. And yeah, I think it's 1 per day. Let's carry on reading, sorry. I think the one criticism a lot of people have had is the time gating on stuff, you know? We're not playing a mobile game, and I think that's annoyed a lot of people. So for those people that can play all day, every day on the weekend, you're going to be fucked compared to the people that can play 3 hours a day every day. And I think that's annoyed a lot of people. Okay, is buying higher gear score armor weapons useless now? No, it's not useless, but it's a longer but it's no longer a way to completely circumvent end game gear. Okay, we know that. So long story short, you go out onto the auction house, you'll buy yourself a full, for argument's sake, void bane gear, gear score 600. But if your gear score for all the gear that you're putting on is only 550, what does it say here? It'll basically downscale it. It will be temporarily reduced in effectiveness. That's what they've said. In some ways, this will make rarity and the types of perks and bonuses an item has even more important, since those will stay active, those scaled down. The winter event will start on the 14th. Why so late? Okay, why do you limit the amount of Gypsum players can earn in a single day? One of the goals of these changes is to provide and promote a variety of end game activities as a way to increase your expertise. If there were no limits, players would likely find the optimal activity and just spam that over and over. Yeah, that's what we like to do, man. Grind it. So we hope that this change incentivizes. It's not an incentive. We're forced to do it. There's a difference there. We hope this change incentivizes players to try out all the different end game options we have, rather than feeling compelled to optimize by grinding the same activity all day. Morning, Mamu. I don't know how I feel about that. I get it, man. I get it. I get they want to push people to all the end game stuff, but you know, we're losing our freedom a bit here, boys. Can you clarify the one cast each day? Does this mean you can only craft one cast a day, regardless of the type of cast? This means you can only craft one of each weapon type per day, i.e. only one Gypsum bow cast a day or one Gypsum fire staff cast a day. But you could theoretically craft as many as 20 Gypsum casts a day. 3 jewelry, 5 armor, 12 weapons. If you had that many Gypsum orbs, note that you will only be able to earn enough Gypsum to craft a maximum of 7 Gypsum orbs a day. Man, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Okay, so the way I see it, right? I want to play with, let's take Carnage, for example, right? I'm on all day. Carnage comes home from work. He's like, let's play some Outpost Rush, Dan. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I don't want to play Outpost Rush because I've already got my 2 Gypsum for the day. I don't want to play it anymore. I need to go and do fucking dungeon because I need to get my Gypsum orb from that dungeon. I feel like it's the same as the PvP missions. You know, you've gone from running around together in PvP missions, which was kind of cool, to now splitting it up to try and get smaller fights everywhere. And now you just don't see your mates really on the PvP missions. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. The new PvP missions suck bad. It's tough, innit? Because on paper, the theory crafting behind the PvP missions makes sense. Like, it does make sense. But actually, in reality, fucking sucks. They fucking suck. They're even further away. They take even longer to do. And half of them, well, normally one of the missions you get stuck with, you can't even do it anyway. Anyway, we won't rant about the PvP missions. We'll talk about Gypsum. We'll keep smashing the chest runs every day, so we can hopefully have our watermark increased as much as possible. After this, I'm gonna get on with the portal train because that really blew up my watermark. I think I'm just gonna portal train all day, every day until the new patch comes out. I have like 1,000 boxes. Why do we need to craft the Gypsum orb before Gypsum cast? This extra step is to limit the number of cast types you can craft per day. You can only create one Gypsum bow cast or any other item type per day. Sure. In the past, you couldn't grind your high watermark jewelry, which means everyone will be behind on there, right? People will be a bit behind on their jewelry expertise. But in December, we have added a number of jewelry items to the drop tables. The players will be able to catch up both with Gypsum and random expertise bumps. Thank you for the coin costs associated with crafting the Gypsum orbs and casts. And because of your feedback, we will dramatically lower the coin costs before the feature hits the game live. Awesome. We had a big moan about that. It was fucking expensive. All right, boys, here we go. The post 8 hours ago. Just spamming quests. I'll do some portals. Next joining portals. Let's go. Thank you for all your continued feedback on the expertise and Gypsum system. Thank you for having a fucking moan, boys. That's what they're trying to say. Whenever possible, we want to share the upcoming changes and discuss them with you, so we can build a better game together. Your feedback and moaning on this system has greatly improved the direction. So thank you again. That's a nice message, man. That's a nice message. I take the piss, but that's a nice message. Before diving in, I want to be clear that we are dedicated to not reducing the power of players in the world, other than cases addressing bugs and imbalance problems. The rest of this post details how we are achieving that while retaining the benefits of the expertise and Gypsum system. The big change. Let me just finish my sweet. Okay, boys. The big change. In early 2022, we will start reducing the effectiveness of gear to your expertise level. We will exempt the following items. Any item you craft. Hold on. Am I reading this right? Are they saying that if I craft the gear score 600 weapon or armor, it won't be reduced? Any item you earn from a quest? Any item you purchase from the faction shop? Okay, let's keep reading before I start moaning, right? I'm one of those moaners right now. Keep reading, Dan. When these changes are implemented, gear score scaling will only apply to items sold or traded after that patch. So any items obtained prior to this patch will not be impacted or reduced in any way. When we thought about it more, reducing power for existing players is just unacceptable and something we will not do. We initially thought it being only temporary and given a new path to gain back that power with Gypsum would be acceptable. But it is now clear that we were wrong. Mate, the forums were filling with fucking angry people with this, man. Okay, so what we're saying is if I craft my own gear score 600 item, I can use it and I will have gear score 600. If I buy it today, if I have gear score 600, but my watermark is 500, I will not be affected anymore. Okay. This updated system will also give players alternative ways to equip themselves if they don't want to engage in the expertise system. Crafting especially will gain even more importance in New World, since any item you craft will be usable at that gear score regardless of expertise. Quests and faction shop items will be other alternatives to good gear. Both are the things we can continue to introduce more in the future. So faction shop's not bad, but it's still sitting down at like 520, right? Quest items I can understand because they probably don't want to fuck themselves over at the moment because people will be doing the quests to get their high gear score and stuff, weapons, and they can't use them out of their own quests. Okay, we acknowledge this change will create a difference between the way the game worked before this change and after. We recognize that some players who haven't hit 60 yet and acquired their gear may feel like the game got harder for them. Hopefully this offset with the addition of Gypsum as a new avenue that the previous players didn't have. In addition, when we implement the gear score scaling, we will now only reduce the effectiveness to the middle of your expertise and the item's gear score. So if your musket expertise is 520 and you buy a 600 gear score musket off the market, your effective gear score will be 560. This combined with getting to use all the perks should create good value in the marketplace for future users. Okay, a quick summary of this. Any gear that you have currently on your person, your character, will not be effective. Gear score scaling will only apply to items sold or traded after the patch. So anything you have now or pre-patch will not be affected. Any items you craft in the future will also not be affected. I'm going to assume that if you trade or sell after the patch, that will be affected. And items you get from a faction shop or from a quest will also not be affected, i.e. your weapon quests. So if you were casual, you're fucked if you can't put the hours into grinding. I don't think you're fucked. I think you're going to be okay. And the reason I think you're going to be okay is, let's say you get to level 60 and all your watermarks are 520. You could jump into an outpost rush twice and you could do some elite mobs or whatever. You'll be getting the gypsum to then create the gypsum or the orbs to then get your casts. So you're not going to be fucked. But what they've done is anyone who's playing the game after the patch or anyone who isn't level 60 yet has to go through this new system. They all have to go through it. But any of us who have been playing before this patch, so basically go out there and buy yourself a full set of 600 gear score now, you won't be affected at all by this. So anyone who's playing the game right now and you're level 60 and you got shit gear, work with people that you know to get yourself 600 gear score, because gear score scaling will only be applied to items sold or traded after the patch. Anything that you trade before the patch shouldn't be scaled. Yeah, I mean, you don't technically have to be level 60 to get the gear, right? You could go out right now, even if you're level 10, and go and buy yourself or get yourself traded some max gear, best in slot gear. Even if you're fucking level 10, get your mates to give it to you, and then after the patch you're gonna have top tier gear and there's nothing they can do about it. Like you'll have it ready for when you're 60. Everyone needs to know this shit, man. Everyone needs to know this. People are gonna be so fucking annoyed if they don't know this and they get fucking cucked by the change. We should absolutely be helping each other out now to make sure that people on your faction, people who are in your company, all have some 600 gear score. So if you guys are a part of our community, we've got a channel called the Crew Trading Post, which has fucking shed loads of gear that most people don't want because it's not best in slot. So we've even stopped crafting a lot of stuff now, and we're trying to craft for individuals, which is going to cost us a fortune, but we're trying to get everyone best in slot gear. That just means they're going to increase the gear score max soon. Yeah, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will increase it at some point. But for now, get yourself some 600 gear score. We've gone through all of this. We've had a quick summary. We know what's happening. December tuning and balance adjustments. Also based on the PTR feedback from playing with the expertise and Gypsum system, we're going to make a number of tuning and balance adjustments to the system. Please keep in mind that these have not been tested, so consider them directional examples of the changes we are planning for December. So it's not happened yet. It's just suggestions. Holy shit. Reduce the cost of crafting a gypsum orb to 2.5 gold from 100. That is a fucking massive change. That is massive. They could have just halved that. Part of me's like, it needed to have kind of some money behind it because you're guaranteed an increase in your gear. But 100 was far too much. But I feel like 2 gold, 2 coin means absolutely nothing. And what the hell? And a gypsum cast to 5 coin from 475. So that was quite expensive. Holy shit. So basically you're going to be paying 2.5 coin for an orb. So if you guys don't understand it, let's say you do 2 outpost rush games, you're going to get 2 gypsum orbs. So you're going to get 2 gypsum resources, 2 gypsum. You can then craft them into orbs. So that's going to cost you 5 gold. And then you get your gypsum cast from those 2 orbs. That's just for outpost rush, by the way. Others can be more. And the gypsum cast is going to cost you 5 coin. Made it cheap so people can tax the crap out of it. I've only seen a kiln in Ebon Scale. I've been told there's one in Reekwater as well. So the people who own Reekwater and Ebon Scale will be able to make some money off the back of this. The rest will be done up in Shattered Mountain. So I think a lot of us who do the chest runs, we have our inn up in Shattered Mountain. Probably just be using that. We decided there was no need to add another coin expense for our level 60 players, but kept it at a minimum amount so that endgame territory owners can earn a little bit more tax income. Time to take Reek. We could, man. We could go to Reek. I don't know how many people are going to use it. I don't think many people use Reek Water at all. Change Topaz Gypsum to daily instead of weekly, and reduce the crafting ingredients to make it less difficult to craft. Probably a lot of us haven't experienced this before and after, so it's just some information. Change Gypsum earn cooldown timers from 22 hours to 18 hours to give a little more leeway to people's play schedules. In the future, how about just remove the timer? In future, we want to build a global cooldown system to make it easier to coordinate this and other daily activities like crafting and faction missions. But that is lower priority than server merges and other critical fixes. This will not happen in the short to medium term. Adjust the way expertise bumps work so there is a minimum as well as a maximum. Okay, so this is what we were after. Currently, there is no minimum, which can result in a few bad rolls at the start, really demoralizing players. This will also decrease the average bumps needed to get from min to max expertise. Our goal is to average around 35. So, in the PTR, when I got my first Gypsum cast, I went from 520 to something like 535. A lot of us thought it was just one expertise per cast, but they're saying here it's gonna it should be an average of around 35 expertise per bump. Pretty good. Quite a lot. Move Gypsum rewards from cash to event. A few activities such as Outpost Rush, Corrupted Breaches, Arenas, and aptitude granted Gypsum in the cash in the PTR. This leads to hoarding and uncertainty if using the cash is now safe. This change should resolve both those. I really don't understand what that means, but whatever. So this is big, right? Let's not we won't skip past this. It's not okay. It's not 35 gear score per bump, more like 35 bumps needed to reach gear score. Just the way expertise bumps work, so there is a minimum as well as a maximum. Currently, there is no minimum, which can result in a few bad rolls at the start, really demoralizing players. This will also decrease the average bumps needed. Every time I read patch notes, I know I'm stupid. I know I don't get things as quick as other people, right? I know I don't. I swear to God, this could be worded better. Like, come on, man. Is it just me? For fuck. So yeah, basically 35 orbs, give or take. Okay. Peace. So yeah, I was just trying to work out the average as well. So we're saying it's roughly 2.2 gear score, two and a bit gear score bumps, expertise bumps per cast, roughly. So of course it's average of 420. Who the fuck did this? So I did. So it's 12, right? You guys have already worked it out. You're faster than me. So it's an average of 35 bumps, and there's 12 different pieces of gear we can bump. It works out to be an average of 420. Yes, not a max, an average. Someone was flying high when he did these, mate. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry, I completely misunderstood that at the start. I mean, it's not horrendous. It's pretty good. I think this is going to be quite a fun system. The only thing that puts me off is that idea of logging in to do certain daily activities every day. You know, I fucking love just one day just doing Outpost Rush all day, or just do portal runs all day, or whatever. But now I'm gonna like have my tick list of doing activities that I need to do. What are the chances of getting a bump though? Well, it's guaranteed. The whole idea of this new system is that it's guaranteed. So I use the outpost rush as an example. So you do two outpost rush games. You get two gypsum resource, which gives you one gypsum cast essentially, which will give you a guaranteed bump, something like that. But yeah, you don't have to do these. These are things that you can do to increase your expertise. However, boys, please take note. Well, the one thing that we've learned, the massive thing that we've learned here from today, is go out now. If you're playing New World or you're on a break from New World, come back into New World and get yourself a set of 600 gear score stuff, armor, weapons, jewelry, or high 580, 590, something like that, because the gear that you have now will not scale after the patch. All right, well, that's that. That is what's happening. That's what's going on. We managed to get there in the end.